Penguin presents The Fifth Letter by Nicola Moriarty, read by Natasha Jacobs. Prologue. The first thing you need to know is that I would never ever actually follow through on these feelings. Joni's first thought was that she wasn't the right person to find it. It should have been someone else. Maybe Deb or Trina. Deb was the straight shooter. She would have brought it straight out into the open. No secrets, no internal monologue trying to decide what to do about it, no panic, no anguish, and definitely no empathy. What the hell is this all about? She would have demanded of the group, probably while brandishing the letter out in front of her like a weapon. And Trina, she came across as quiet, restrained, but she had her moments. Catch her on the right day and, like Deb, she knew how to take charge. But her style was different to Deb's. If she'd found the letter, she would have stared each one of them down, brought them to their knees, made them confess. Eden would have been just as bad as Joni, though. Maybe worse. She crumbled under pressure. She wouldn't have had a clue what to do. Joni supposed Eden would have simply brought the charred fragments of paper straight to her. She could take it to Deb, make her deal with it, put it all in her hands. But here's the problem, thought Joni. How do I know she wasn't the one who wrote it? Chapter 1, July 2016. What's that thing you're supposed to say at the beginning? What do you mean, love? You know, the thing you're supposed to say first before you launch into your whole speech. Oh, you mean, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned? Yes, that's the one. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been, I don't know, years and years since my last confession. Although, can I just say, I was expecting you to sound different. How do you mean? Well, you know, with a name like O'Reilly, I thought you might have a sweet Irish accent. I didn't think you'd sound so Aussie. Right. Joni readjusted her bottom on the flat wooden seat and leaned forward to press her face up against the mesh window. Are you sure you're really Father O'Reilly? She asked, her voice coming out a bit muffled due to her mouth being smushed against the window. God, imagine if she were about to spill her guts to some complete random who'd taken up residence in the priest's compartment for a laugh. Yes, came the steady reply. Quite confident. She leaned back and rested her head against the panelled wall behind her, breathed in the dusty darkness of the small enclosed cubicle. What happens if a claustrophobic person wants to confess? She mused quietly. Pardon? Nothing, never mind. 3 bars of sunlight filtered through the gaps in the wall to Joni's left, picking up the flecks of dust in the air. She gazed at the gently floating sparkles and felt her body starting to relax. I suppose I should really get started, she said. If you're ready. I wasn't planning on coming here to talk to you, by the way. I haven't been to church since I was 12. That was the age Mum and Dad let us all make our own decisions about religion. We were allowed to say we didn't want to come to evening mass on the weekends, just as long as we were doing something worthwhile instead, like homework or a load of washing for Mum or whatever. So as soon as each one of us hit 12, one by one we all stopped, until it was only Mum and Dad driving down the street in the fading light all by themselves. Sometimes I feel guilty about that. Like, I wondered if they were lonely, or if they regretted giving us the choice. I mean, as much as I was starting to doubt the whole existence of God thing, no offense, I did sometimes miss getting all dressed up and the whole family piling into the car together at twilight, and the church would be warm and glowing, and there would be those families that you only sort of knew because you only ever saw them once a week, and if you ran into them anywhere else, they'd be completely out of context. And sometimes Mum and Dad would take us to Pizza Hut for dinner afterwards, and the best part of that was the all-you-can-eat dessert bar with the giant vat of chocolate mousse. Sorry, I've gone off on a tangent. Anyway, the point is I was going to talk to a psychologist, or a psychiatrist. I never know what the difference is. But then I started ringing around and they were all either booked out for weeks and weeks, or else they wanted me to go to my GP first and get a referral and get put on a mental health plan or whatever. And I couldn't really waste that kind of time. Besides, you don't cost anything, so that's a bonus. Thank you. You're welcome. Not to rush you, love, but did you have something you wanted to confess? Joni hesitated, thinking, how is she supposed to do this? Just come right out and start listing off her transgressions like a sinful shopping list?
Sample complete. Ready to continue?